called good, bad, and ugly. What it involves is we have a panel up here of experts. Can you believe that? And in fact, they are experts on any subject of your choosing. The reason it's called good, bad, ugly is because we have 3 experts. One who tells good advice, one who gives bad advice, and one who gives advice that is so horrible, like locking your mother in the basement, that it can be nothing but just downright ugly. So what I need from you guys is a suggestion, just a broad category of things you might have questions about.
Space.
Space. It's a lot to know. So we have 3 experts here on space. Does anybody in the audience have a question about space? No, it's overwhelming. Think about how vast it is.
Space-related advice.
Yeah.
How can I go to space? The cheapest.
How least expensive way to go to space?
I guess it depends on whether you're talking about the least expensive for you or the least expensive in general. I would say the least expensive way for you to go to space is to maybe consider being a trophy husband. So find yourself a really rich billionairess, get inside her, and maybe start mentioning things about how you really like and you really want to go to space. Maybe wine her, dine her. Obviously, you're going to be using her money to do most of these things. But make sure that she knows that is your one true desire. Then, when you get married, ask for that as your wedding present. She's not going to be able to refuse you.
Not bad advice. Hi, Bob the ecologist here. And now, normally, my knowledge pertains to nature, or terra firma, or the hard earth, as people say. But, you see, what birds do is they fly, much like things that go into space. Now, what parasites do, when they want to go into the sky, is they latch on to these birds in order to go from one place to another. So, if you want to go into space, the easiest thing you can do is latch on to somebody who's already going to space. So maybe find, let's say, Richard Branson. Grab him by his white hair and his big smile, and you don't let go until you're on the moon.
You know, that's great advice, guys, but I don't think either of those are really that cheap. You know, there's a lot of effort involved in both of them. Yeah, you know, the thing is, all you need to do is go to an alley, you know, find a rope, tie that rope around your arm. I'm in space.
Oh, that's good.
Does anybody else have a question about space?
Why was Pluto downgraded to a dwarf planet?
Why is Pluto no longer a planet?
Well, I think the reason why Pluto is no longer a planet is because it doesn't meet all the qualifications that being a planet is supposed to have. So being a planet, you need to have some semblance of an atmosphere, you need to have some semblance of a diameter. And Pluto just didn't. Pluto is tiny, you don't understand. And so it just didn't meet those specifications. And so, you know, when the powers that be, I don't know if you know the black guy who, like, sometimes he does little spots on Jeopardy, he talks about things, he's a physics guy. He's pretty awesome. I can't remember his name.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Exactly! Neil deGrasse Tyson. That guy knows his shit. And I remember him talking about Pluto and how it's not a planet anymore. And anything Neil deGrasse Tyson says is true. That is why. Because Neil deGrasse Tyson said so.
Interesting. So why is Pluto no longer a planet? Not quite advice, but we can still work with it. You see, once again, my knowledge pertains more to nature. And if nature's taught us anything, it's that size counts.
I think there are 2 reasons, actually, too. The first reason is, I don't know if you've seen the Magic School Bus episode where they kill Pluto. Arnold pretty much dies there. That's one reason. Pretty much, you know, Pluto fucking sucks.
Does anybody, I think we've got time for maybe one more question. Does anybody else have a question, maybe advice about space?
How can I handle the effects of gravity?
How you handle the effects of gravity in space, or the lack of gravity?
Of course, I mean, gravity is one of those things that you need to get used to, okay? And whether it's a lot of gravity or whether it's no gravity, the thing is that you need to work your way up to it. Similar to the way that if you're going down into the ocean, let's say you're scuba diving, you need to work yourself up to it and get used to the pressure. And so what people do with that is that they go quite far down, get used to that, then they go up a little bit. And they get used to that. And then they go down farther, they get used to that, and they go up a bit. It's basically acclimatizing your body to the pressure that it's being put under. And in the same way with space, the way that people train to go into space is they train in zero gravity or very low gravity situations. Let's say by going into a plane that is going into free fall. And so when you're in free fall in a plane, you have no gravity, and you can train and get yourself used to doing that. I don't recommend that because you're not going to be able to go into space after that. But find ways that you can train with no gravity and get yourself used to it.
I didn't understand a word he said, but I completely agree. What you want to do to be able to adapt to different kinds of gravity is you want to be a creature that adapts, a creature that is used to being different ways, have different perspectives, having different influences on gravity, something that maybe is upside down. What do we know is always upside down? A vampire. What you want to do is find a vampire, maybe woo it, let it bite you 3 times, but not completely draining you, because we all know what happens then. And then for hanging upside down. Thank you very much.
All right, Bob. I like where you're coming from here, but the thing about getting used to gravity is you have to get used to not feeling anything around you. You want to be totally free, just floating. So I want you to go into an alley. And